Hey guys, welcome back to the episode of the Nicocast. So, YouTube released a feature a while ago called YouTube Shorts, and it gave a lot of people the opportunity to start their YouTube career. And one of the people who benefited the most out of it was Jake. He blew up on YouTube thanks to Shorts, gaining over 4 million subs and 3 billion views, right?
Yeah, I just crossed 3 billion.
Which is crazy. But he didn't only blow up on Shorts. He also on TikTok. So, Jake, tell us about yourself.
I mean, that was a good introduction. Basically,
Thank
the,
you.
the easiest way to describe what I do is I am a 3D artist and I create short form animated content revolving video games.
Yeah.
That's my gig. And I'm a TikToker and a YouTuber. So I was a TikToker first. I downloaded TikTok like about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and I grew to like 1 million followers within a year. And then shortly after hitting 1 million on TikTok, my YouTube started to take off, and now I'm kind of like equally a TikToker and a YouTuber. So yeah.
Yeah. Like, who was your inspiration for YouTube, like, first starting off? And then who was your inspiration, like, to do the type of content you do now? That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's interesting because my content is like a very unique vein. No, there aren't a lot of people that are making animated content, especially not
Mm-hmm.
revolving video games. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for Minecraft, animated Minecraft stuff on YouTube,
Yes.
but it's all long form. There's nobody making really short form content like I am. And so it's its own genre. So if there's one like person I look up to, it's kind of hard to say necessarily another content creator who I'm like aspiring to be like. But one of my biggest influences to join social media in the first place, his name is Gary Vaynerchuk. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to listen to his podcast on a daily basis, and he inspired me to join social media altogether. So yeah.
Wow. So, how did you learn 3D animating? Was it just like only for like social media, or was it already something you already did before?
Yeah. So I'm actually self-taught at 3D artwork.
Wow.
A lot of people go to school to learn this stuff, but for me, it was basically like 2 or 3 years ago. I just downloaded the software because I thought it would be fun, and I thought it would just be like a little artistic. I don't know. It just like had this scratch to do it, and I've always done a lot of drawing and painting and stuff like that, but it was just kind of a new medium that I thought would be fun to play around with, and so I downloaded it, and for a long time, for the first year or so, I was just like playing around with it, just making spheres and moving them around. There was literally no intention of doing it professionally or as a job. I was just relaxing and having fun with it, which is the way anything should be.
Yes.
But anyway, it turned into much more because I at one point I got good enough where I was like, oh, well, I can actually sell this. People are willing to pay for me to make 3D models and stuff. And so I started doing that as a full-time job after I graduated from university. And then my social media took off, and now I just make social media posts. But just started out for fun and kind of evolved along the way.
I'm pretty sure like most things just start like as just like for fun, as like a hobby, and then it turns into something you can like
Yeah.
actually do like full time. So yeah.
Yeah. It's such a blessing to be able to do it because like, yeah, it's just a fun thing for me. So I truly enjoy what I do on a daily basis, which is like absolute blessing. I think a lot of people's jobs are very different story than that, but yeah, I'm having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, because a lot of people just hate their jobs. It's most like office work. So, and then there's some people like you that love what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, how do you come up with ideas for animations?
That is a really good question, and it's honestly probably one of my most asked questions. I often say that coming up with an idea every day is the most difficult part of what I do,
Mm-hmm.
because for the most part, when I'm animating and stuff, it's kind of like just moving things back and forth, and you kind of after you do it 100 times, you know how to move around the objects. But coming up with ideas is the most difficult part. So my process is pretty much like I when I sometimes it'll just like hit me in the middle of the day. I'll think, oh, this could be a kind of interesting idea, and I write it down. And I have like a little list. And then when I have like an idea of something that could work, and there's a list of like 50 things that could work. I'm gonna actually grab my note. I have a notebook where I sketch out my ideas. And
Okay.
so basically what it is, it starts off with just like an idea. So I'll write down, here's like an idea dump, okay? And it's just a list
Yeah.
of like interesting things that happen in the game, like lava and diamond. This is pertaining to Minecraft, right? So I'll write
Yeah.
down lava and diamonds and creeper. And I just like try and mold that over in my brain, right? And then I sketch out, my lighting is not great in here, but there's all these little
Don't worry.
boxes on the page, right? And so then once I have an idea of something that could work, I will sketch out like a 4-panel comic. It's almost like a comic strip.
Yeah.
And sort of the sequence of events that will happen in the animation. And then I get to work. So that's not a super descriptive method for coming up with creative ideas. I don't have like a magic bullet, because still at the end of the day, my answer is like, it just kind of comes to me. But there are certainly days where it's like frustrating, where I can't necessarily think of something new, but that's a little bit of my creative process, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like most of my ideas also just come from like me just like sitting down, like eating, and then just like idea, like and I'm instantly go write that down.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
for me, like I don't like I just write down the idea in an app, and then whenever I just want to do it, I just do it. I don't like plan it out while doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I sometimes do, but it's like right when I'm gonna do it, like 10 minutes before. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably a more typical creative approach. But for me, because the animation stuff is so time intensive,
Yeah.
I need to have like a frame by frame shot, or like a very specific idea of like what the camera angle is going to be and stuff. Because otherwise, it just takes so much longer if you just kind of go in without a plan. So
because
yeah,
you already spend like hours, and you don't want to spend even more hours. Just like so.
Yes.
Yeah. So you made you posted on your Instagram when you hit 1 million on TikTok that you were so confident that you're going to get there to 1 million in 1 year. What was the reasoning? Because you were so confident.
Because I believed in myself. I don't know. That is a funny thing, because it was very like cocky to basically what Nico is referencing for podcast listeners. When I first downloaded TikTok, it was in October of 2019. I made a post on LinkedIn and said, mark my words, in 1 year or less, I will have 1 million followers. And at that time I had 0 followers. I had never like posted on social media or anything. So yeah, it's a pretty cocky thing to say, or like, I don't know. Yeah. But regardless, I think that I said that partially, and I wanted to put it out on social media to help hold myself accountable, and to just like set a goal. And it's very possible that I wouldn't have hit it in 1 year. And I hit it actually exactly in 1 year, like October 2020. So, but it's very possible that I wouldn't have, but having that out in a space, there's something to be said for like making your goals public and keeping them in the front of your mind on a daily basis. And it's not like a ton of people saw that. It's not like if I didn't hit 1 million, I would have been shamed or canceled or anything. But it is like making that goal and putting it out into the world, on LinkedIn, certainly motivated me to do that. And I think my confidence just came from the fact that I knew that it was something that I really wanted to do, and I was going to, do everything in my power to make it happen. So it wasn't like I just started my first account and all of a sudden had 100,000 followers. I actually made 3 separate accounts, and I tried a bunch of different styles of content before I actually had any success. It was about 5 months. The first 5 months, I had like, I only had 10,000 followers on one of my accounts. But I didn't give up, because I was like, okay, this is still something I'm trying to do, and I'm like working hard at it. And yeah, I think the confidence just came from the fact that I knew that it was something that I wanted, and I was going to do everything in my power to make it happen.
A lot of people would have just gave up, like 5 months in and 10,000. A lot of people would be like, no, this is not happening. I'll just drop this whole thing. But yeah. And I feel like, I don't know where I saw this. But Dream, the Minecraft YouTuber, I remember seeing this somewhere, but some like screenshots got leaked of like a conversation from him like 2 years ago, like a year ago, from one of his friends saying, "Oh, you never be a big YouTuber," and then he was responding like, "Yes, I will. In a year times, I will be a huge YouTuber." And look at him now.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for believing in yourself and just like being confident in your own abilities.
Yeah. like, how did you learn all like the TikTok hacks, like to like grow, or was it just like posting like normally?
How I learned it is by failing at it a bunch of times. Like I said, I had made like 100 pieces of content before I ever had a video get like 10,000 views or whatever. Like I just made a lot of videos in a lot of different styles before, and I just spent a lot of time on the app. So a lot of trial and error. And still, even today, like my content is evolving to be more viral, and I'm learning how to like make better videos. Like my
Mm-hmm.
last 10 videos have all been loops, and that was something in the
Mm-hmm.
past that it was just kind of like, oh, if I make a loop, that's a more fun thing. And now it's almost like a requirement for me mentally. I'm like, it needs to be a loop. To make That's just like something I'm really focused on. But like literally 2 months ago, that was not on my radar at all. So yeah, it's always constantly evolving and from trial and error. And once you do something 50 times doesn't mean that you have all the answers. So yeah, just keep
Yeah.
chipping away at it.
Yeah, I feel like trial and error is a very good way to like find out the hacks to different social medias. Like everything
Yeah.
I learned was because of like the years of me doing YouTube. Um, so that's how I learned most of the things. And for the loops, like I feel like the loops are a very good idea because it gets people to comment like, "Wait, is this a loop?" Or am I just like
Yeah.
imagining stuff? Um,
Yeah,
and that's kind of like a way to get people comments, which always helps.
absolutely.
On YouTube, one of the reasons you grew a lot was because of shorts. How did you first find out what they were?
So basically what happened was back in September when everybody in the United States thought that TikTok was going to be banned. Do you remember that? Like Donald Trump was
Yeah.
saying at the end of September it's going to be gone. And so I was sitting at like 500,000 followers on TikTok, and I was like pretty sad to hear that. But I was also just keeping my ear to the pulse of all the other, competitors that were coming out. So Instagram was coming out with Reels, and YouTube was coming out with Shorts. And then there was Triller and Byte, I think was another one. But there's all these other apps that are popping up. There's like, this is going to be the next TikTok. And so I was kind of like, well, if TikTok does go, one of these will replace it. And so I was just trying to be really cognizant of all the other alternatives that were going on and posting my content simultaneously to these other platforms. And YouTube was YouTube Shorts. It was only released in the United States like in March, but I got an email from YouTube back in September saying that it was just sort of like a creator news update sort of thing. And they were just saying that they were doing a live stream to talk about the beta release in India. And so I attended a live stream event where they were basically just talking about how they're planning on launching the beta in India. And the guy who was running the live stream was like, here's how you upload the shorts, and you can still be considered for the, For You page equivalent of shorts in India just by uploading from your laptop, by following these steps, having hashtag shorts in the title, etc. And so yeah, it was just something that I was like, oh well, now I'll just also upload my TikToks to YouTube. And so I was an early mover on that, and then they just started taking off.
Yeah, I feel like shorts were a very good tool and made a lot of people grow. And I'm kind of mad like I didn't use it earlier because like I saw so many videos of it and I was like, no, this is not going to be as big. Like I saw like at least 5 different videos in like the span of like a week. And I should have taken that as a sign to like upload them, but I just didn't. And then like around in February, I started like 2 different YouTube channels and I uploaded shorts. I started a Minecraft shorts one, which got like 500 in like a month, which is really good for me. And then I had another one, which kind of like started off slow and then just 100 in like a week, which is crazy. And now because of those channels, I learned a little bit more about shorts, and I'm trying to like use it on my main channel, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not too late. I saw this quote the other day on reading through the comments on a shorts video. Someone said the best time, and this is probably just a random quote from someone else, but it said the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The second best time is today. So yeah,
Yes.
just if you start now, you're going to be ahead of the curve still, because it still is a far way out from like Charlie D'Amelio or Lil Huddy posting shorts. So there's a lot of big name creators who are still way behind.
Yeah, definitely. Like very recently, like I've seen popular creators with like already over 1 million subscribers starting to post shorts. And I'm like, how have they not realized yet? So, like, they should have like done it earlier.
Yeah, it's like the foundation of my career now, and it's I can't imagine people who are like actively making TikToks and not posting them to shorts, because it's like it's the same video, you can just re-upload it. But yeah.
Yeah, I always had a second channel, but I didn't know what to use it. So I started reposting like my TikToks, which is me like doing random stuff. And then like a lot of them got over like 500 views, and I was like, what? Like these are like the worst videos on YouTube. How are they getting like attraction? And then after I started those like 2 different channels, I noticed like, oh, these do work to get subs and like views. So and like my past 5 shorts, all have done really well. Like two of them, my past 2, all have just today started to get a lot of views. Which is crazy. And I already have like 4 shorts lined up for like the next week to upload.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So why did you decide to go for an even bigger goal on YouTube than TikTok? Because your goal on TikTok was 1 million, and then on YouTube, correct me if I'm wrong, it was like 10 million?
Oh yeah, well, I hit 1 million subs on YouTube in December, and I just I was growing at a rate where it's like, well, I'm doing 500,000 to 1 million a month new subscribers, and it's like I just kind of saw that it was a possibility for me to try and reach for 10 million. I would certainly like to get 10 million on TikTok as well, and I'm actually closer on TikTok than I'm on YouTube. But it's just, I mean, I think it's the next logical step to set your sights on the next, that's the next level. So I think it's just sort of a logical step to move from 1 million to 10 million, 10x it. But yeah, it's not like I necessarily want my YouTube to be bigger. It'd be awesome if they just continue to grow at the same rate and I could get 10 million on both. Yeah.
But I think it's definitely possible, even if you have like one kind of like not so good month, it's still possible. I think, at least, for you to get 10 million.
It's interesting though, because actually this past month I'm starting to think that it might not be possible anymore. Because there was a big change in, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there was a big change in the layout of the shorts player. Yeah. And so I just was talking to, do you know the channel vidIQ?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was talking with the creator of that channel and like just looking over my analytics with him, and there's a distinct, you can tell there's a distinct day when they changed the layout. They changed the subscribe button from red to gray and then moved it down to the bottom. And it's already like, I'm getting like half the amount of subscribers now. So certainly it'll be a lot more difficult. I'm still up for the challenge, but it is interesting because because it's such a new thing, I don't know, or because the shorts player is so new, I don't know if they're going to keep that or if it's going to continue to change or if shorts are even here to stay for a long time. But yeah, still, it's definitely a goal of mine still.
Yeah, but I feel like it also benefited like the comments and all the other stuff.
Yes, it did.
But like the subscribe button, which is very important for a lot of people, it's not benefiting. Like if you got like 50,000 views on a short, you would get probably like at least 500 subscribers or like 1,000, and now you get like less than 200.
Yeah, so my current like ratio is I get 1,000 subscribers per 1 million views. Okay. So yeah, it's just, that sounds ridiculously low to me. If there's 1 million people looking at it and only 1,000 people are hitting the subscribe button, I don't even know the percentage, but that's very small. So yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I have nothing to complain about. I absolutely so blessed to be in the position that I am. So yeah.
Is this like before they changed or after they changed?
This is after. So it used to be like 2,000 subscribers per 1 million views. So it was cut in about half. But that still is so low. I think it's just I think it just has to do with the nature of short form content is a little bit less sticky than long form. Like if you watch a 10-minute Mr. Beast video, I think people are more likely to subscribe because they're more engaged in the content. Or they're like more committed to watching a 10-minute video versus like scrolling and be like, oh yeah, I saw this video, I'm just gonna keep scrolling. So yeah, I don't know. And
like I had like one video had 50,000 views on my Minecraft Shorts channel. And it got me like 320 subscribers. Yeah, 329 subscribers just from like 50,000 views, which definitely was a lot. But like I saw in the beginning, like from like 400 views, I was getting like 20 subscribers, and I was like, what? And then it kind of slowed down. Then it slowed down even more. Now the channel's barely even going up a subscriber. Like in a day, it's losing. Mainly probably because I'm not uploading as much anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to keep an eye on all the metrics. When I started doing social media as a whole, I wasn't like super into all the analytics of everything. But now that it's like my full-time job, I'm so data oriented and just like keeping track of like, okay, what countries are watching which videos and like yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's really interesting to keep track of all that stuff, especially after you have like a year's worth of data to look through, because you can start to see trends and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, like, do you think if you were to do like longer form videos, would like your growth be a lot like faster or a lot less? Because for me, in my shorts channel, I posted like 2 long form videos and it just completely killed the channel. But yeah, I want to know like what you would do if like shorts were to go away, or like it would be a lot less effective.
Yeah, I don't know. I've definitely thought a lot about doing long form content, but the reality is I can't make longer animations because it takes me so long to make each video. So like the trade-off would be, instead of posting like every single day like I do, or every other day, it would be like I would only get to post once a month if I was posting like 5-minute long videos. So I don't really see myself doing long form videos for a while, but I think that it would be, I would get less views on long form videos just because the nature of shorts, like, yeah, I mean, shorts just have the most opportunity for organic reach right now. And I just think there's so much more competition for long form videos, especially like if I just start doing long form animated Minecraft videos, like there's hundreds of other channels doing long form animated Minecraft series, you know? So it's like the competition also is more extreme there too, as a whole. And so shorts just have the most reach right now, and also the most potential, at least for the way I see it, for growing subscribers as well. So yeah, down the road, I might move to long form stuff, but certainly not within the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I feel like for the next like year, I think shorts gonna still be a thing, and for the next 3 years, it'll probably still be a thing. But like what I think you should do is kind of like do like compilations, maybe like for the Minecraft RTX, like 20, like once you're kind of done with that series, kind of like make a compilation of all of them, or like make a compilation of all the Among Us ones. There's a lot of like compilation like shorts where people put different shorts in the compilation. Some of them do very well, so maybe.
Yeah, you're totally right on that. It's something that I need to get on. And I've had a lot of people in my ear being like, make a compilation, because also for revenue reasons too, you can actually make a decent amount of money on longer videos, right? And shorts as a whole are not monetized. But it's the reason why I haven't done a compilation of my Among Us stuff is because like all of them have copyrighted music in them, or a lot of them are reliant on copyrighted music. So like if I uploaded them as a compilation, like I wouldn't make any money on it, and also it would just kind of be like a moot point. So I'm working on, or I'd say that I'm working on it, but it's really been on my back burner. But it's on my agenda to like redo all the videos, or not redo them, but redo the audio on all of them and make them independent of the copyrighted music, so that I can put them out and actually monetize that. Because that would be the main motivating factor for me to make compilations, is to actually like get a paycheck. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like are you going to continue the Jake Fellman tutorials, or is that just like, or are you going to move that to the kind of like your main channel, or do you want to get like a course for that? Which one do you think?
So it was the tutorial channel. Actually, all those videos were on my YouTube, on my main channel. They were like the first stuff that I ever posted on YouTube, really. And what I saw happen as I was getting a larger following is that the tutorials kept showing up like in the recommended after people were watching my shorts. And it's just such a different audience that I felt like it was inappropriate to be pushing that content onto my, like, I'd rather them be recommended another short of mine than be recommended a long form tutorial, it's like versus a long boring video. And also, how YouTube makes like these custom playlists, like mix of Jake Fellman. It was like mixing my tutorials with my shorts, and it just felt like so backwards. And I didn't want people to experience my content in that way, so I decided to move those onto a different channel. So those videos are actually pretty old, and I do intend to make more tutorials in the future, but like right now I'm so busy with just trying to get as many Minecraft videos out the door as possible that it's really not something I'm gonna expand on for the next year or so. But I am a huge believer in free education and like providing the tools that I use to other people who want to learn how to do it. And because I'm self-taught and I just learned from like YouTube and stuff. And so I want to be able to like pass that on to other people. But yeah, I'm just really, really, really busy right now. So
Yeah, I can imagine with like 8 hours of like animating, and then like you don't have really much time else in your day. So I kind of definitely understand. So like, how did you? I asked the same question for the TikTok. Did you also learn like the hacks to YouTube and Shorts through trial and error, or did you actually kind of like investigate, or was it the same way as TikTok? If that makes sense.
I think that I learned how to make good content on TikTok first, and it just translated well to YouTube. There's not a lot of differences between like what performs well on the two platforms, because they are like, at their heart, they're kind of like the same thing. Or YouTube is trying to be similar to TikTok, just serving the algorithm, picking and serving videos that people enjoy. And so certainly there are things that matter, like audience retention and how many times did somebody replay it, or did they like it and comment. So, but I think a lot of those things are drivers of the algorithm picking a good video on both platforms. So it's not like I moved to YouTube and be like, oh, my YouTube video is going to be more like this, or yeah.
Yeah. Did the loops help like make people rewatch it?
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, I've really been focusing on loops lately. And the reason why, not only have I seen like an uptick in my viewership since I started doing this, but I was digging through my YouTube analytics like last month, and I realized that my audience retention was just above 100%. Like it was like 105%. So that means
Wow.
on average, even for the videos that are not looped, like that's like the lifetime average of my entire channel. So even for the videos which are not looped, which maybe like I only had 10 loops on my channel at that time, people were rewatching enough to push my entire lifetime viewership above 105%, which is like pretty astronomical. And it also is an indication that whether or not you like it, whether or not a video is designed to be viewed twice, people are going to be viewing it twice. And so kind of my mindset was, if I can make it so it's meant to be viewed twice at least, or 3 times or 4 times, that's going to just drive up my numbers. And yeah, I've seen that really be impactful, especially these last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Does it like it definitely, I'm imagining it definitely helps. And like I've seen a lot of other people that don't do animations. Do you know the guy who works at like Cold Stone and like courses of
Yeah.
doing it? Yeah, he also started doing like loops. And he's been growing a lot on YouTube and TikTok since that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely helps.
Especially when you can't tell if it's a loop or not. That's like the best part, because people will because then they start watching like 5 or 10 times. I have several videos above 300% audience retention, which means that the average person is watching it at least 3 times. So
Wow.
yeah, it definitely helps when they can't tell. Like even with the thing is, like with the Cold Stone guy, like you can tell when he restarts the video just because he starts telling the story again. But like with my videos too, I don't use music in them anymore, or like the last 10 of them haven't used music. And that's another giving factor, is like if you can tell the music is repeating. But a lot of my videos, you just like truly cannot tell if it's repeating or not. And that just drives crazy viewership.
Yeah, and with the Cold Stone guy, he kind of like restarts like what he's saying, and like at the end
Yeah.
is like the first couple words, and at the beginning's the first couple words too.
Yeah.
And I was actually like right before this interview, I was showing my mom like one of your videos, and then she was like, "When does this end?" And I just laughed.
Yeah. Never. Yeah.
And like, and I thought it was crazy when like a video got like of mine where it was like 19 seconds long. Yeah, 26 average view duration. I thought that was crazy, but 300 is like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So that's definitely something I'm gonna keep pushing for the next month or two until something changes. So
Yeah, I was just checking the shorts analytics, and it said bell notifications are not sent for shorts. Does that kind of annoy you that their notifications are not sent?
um I don't know. It doesn't really bother me at all. The thing is, I think notifications are it's a long-term thing on YouTube for people to like turn on notifications. Like everybody's always like turn on my notifications and stuff. And I think maybe for a long-form creator that matters more. But because of the way that shorts work and it's just automatically serving the content to people who are scrolling, it doesn't matter if they see it within the first 10 minutes. If someone likes my video or if it's a good video, they're going to see it eventually. Like it'll be served to them, So it doesn't really, I don't really care that the notifications are off. And this actually leads into another interesting segue in that like I don't care about post times at all, like what time of day I post, because like the reality is, I've posted videos at midnight and I've posted videos at noon, and they always, not always, but like unfailingly, if a video is good, it's going to get 1 million views or 10 million views, because over time it'll serve it to the right people. And I just think that because of the way that the algorithms are built, it'll recognize if it's a good piece of content and it'll be seen by a lot of people. So yeah.
Talking about like features shorts have, is there like one feature you'd like bring back that shorts used to have, and one current feature that you'd take away?
That's a good question. It's funny because I don't consume content through shorts. So like I watch TikTok, but I don't like go on shorts and like scroll through. So I'm not like a super native user of it actually through the shorts player. And also just like because it's so new, I don't know if obviously I would love if the subscribe button got turned red and put back up. So maybe that's one thing I would change back. But I think overall shorts are still a little bit more clunky than YouTube than TikTok, just in the way that the audios are organized, and like there's these like landing pages where you can like click on the hashtag shorts, and it's just kind of messy overall. Like hashtags in the shorts player are a little messy too. I think that it's just a matter of it still being in beta and still being a relatively new way of consuming content for YouTube. But yeah, it's hard to say. If anything to change that I would change about shorts, it would be make it more like TikTok.
Yeah, and something that I would personally do, but I said you don't like consume like shorts as video. But I sometimes do. And something that like really kind of annoys me. So when you click on like the person's name, and the logo, it takes you to like a page where you see all their shorts, and it says subscribe in red, but it doesn't tell you how many subscribers they have. So I'd probably like add the subscribers there, but that's the only thing I'd probably add. And obviously turn it back to red, the subscribe button.
Yeah, it is a little bit clunky like that. The whole thing, that landing page, they have a lot of things like that where you just kind of like click and it's like, what is this page that I'm looking at? Like, why would it not take me to my channel when they click on my name? Or it is weird that they don't say the number there, or other things like that. Another thing actually, when I do consume on shorts, it annoys me that the video pauses when you pull up the comments. I don't know, maybe that's a good thing, but I'm just so used to it on TikTok, the video not pausing, and I'm like, why is the video not playing? But yeah, just because I'm used to TikTok, I think.
Yeah, I also found that, and I'm like, I want the music to keep rolling in the background. I don't want to get bored while reading the comments. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So like, what is the process of doing a Jake Fellman animation? Like, you already said the sketching part, but what goes after the
Yeah.
sketching part?
So after I have the sketches, I basically have this base file where I have all of the models that I've created and all the textures and stuff already preloaded into. So that's where all of my animations start off when I start a series.
Okay.
So like my Minecraft assets, the 3D assets are all in the same file. So then I just open that file, I delete out all the stuff that I know that I'm not going to be using, and then save it out as a new file for the fresh video of the day. And so like that's what I do for my Minecraft series. And then for my Among Us stuff, it was the same too. All my assets and colors and textures are loaded into one base file. So it's just like easier to get the whole process started when you have like
Yeah.
something to start from.
I'm
And
guessing it
then
made it a lot quicker. I'm guessing it
yeah,
made it a lot quicker.
it just streamlines it a little bit. Yeah. And then from there, it's just like, I mean, I don't know how much you want me to get into the process of actual animation, but basically the way that things move through the software is called keyframes. And this is actually a fun fact that I like sharing about animation to anybody. Is the term keyframes comes back from the olden days of animation in like Walt Disney animation studios, when they would have all the animations drawn by hand, right? And so basically the way that animation is done is that I feel like I might be getting too technical here.
No, don't
But
worry. Don't worry.
regardless, the way the animation is done, the way the animation is done is basically it's a bunch of flashing images, right? And so when they would
Yes.
hand draw the images, they would have the number one animator in the studio draw like the most important or the key frames and the most critical, like when Mickey Mouse is like down in the bottom of his jump and when he's up in the air, like jumping in the air. And so then they would have like the interns or like the other animators fill in the rest of the frames. And so it's similar in computer animation because you set the key frames, you're like the lead animator, you set the key frames and then the computer does what is called interpolation, where it decides what happens in between those. So when I'm like throwing a block in Minecraft, I'll set a keyframe of the wrist up here and then a keyframe of the wrist down here, and then the computer moves between those spots. So yeah, and then it's just like a lot of rewinding back and forth and setting a bunch of movements, and yeah, that's how it's made, I guess.
I mean, like, I like when people get like in depth. Like, I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I don't know if like my viewers like that if we just click off. But yeah, for me it's just very interesting because like I tried making like an animation once, but it was like drawing animation, and I can't draw, so it made 10 times worse. But yeah, like
yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot of, and I can blab all day about it. But yeah, so basically you set the keyframes and then there's like lighting and stuff. So you set like virtual lights to, sometimes there's a sunlight and sometimes they're just like a spotlight. Yeah, and then after you animate everything, there's a process called rendering. It's just a process where the computer just like has to think about the animation. So I just upgraded to a new computer, but before my Minecraft series, I did all of my Among Us videos on a laptop, and it would take my computer about 12 hours to render each video.
What?
So basically it goes through each frame, and because I use what's a photorealistic renderer, it bounces, like it simulates light rays like bouncing around. And so each frame would take like 1 to 5 minutes to render, depending on the complexity of the frame, how many lights are in the scene, if it's a lot of textures. My new computer, like I said, I just upgraded to a new computer, and it can render out in like probably 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours, but it still is like a little bit of downtime. And I typically just line it up with my sleep schedule. So I just kind of like finish the animation and go to sleep. And then when I wake up, it's done in the morning. So yeah.
Wow. 12 hours. Like, I couldn't be like waiting for that much time for like a video.
I know. Yeah. You learn to be patient. The first time I ever made a render, like when I just learned about 3D, I was like, could not believe that you have to, after you finish the animation, you have to like wait more. And I made a post. I had like a separate Instagram account for my 3D artwork at that time. And I made a post. I'm like, I just rendered this and it took an hour to render. It was like ridiculously low quality settings and it was only like 1 second long. I just in the post I wrote like, there's got to be a better way to do this. I can't wait this long. And then little did I know that it's like this huge rabbit hole of like rendering is like a major part of the 3D workflow. So yeah.
Like for me, like the longest thing I had to expert was like a podcast, but because they're like pretty long, and yeah, but just like
yeah, well, the whole processing time, it can take long sometimes. Yeah.
yeah,
But you learn to be patient, and it actually is. I think it's good just to sit on it before you post it anyway. You know, make sure it's good enough.
yeah, and I feel like I like how you line it up with your sleep schedule, just so like because if you're awake, you're gonna be staring at the screen all day. Like, come on, quickly, like
Yeah,
that.
well, I do that sometimes. Yeah, yeah. There are days where I'm like, just my computer's just because also while things are rendering, you can't really do anything else on the program. It just like takes up the entire like CPU or GPU or whatever. Just like you can't really do anything else.
Wow.
But yeah.
So when you had like the laptop, like, and it took 12 hours, you couldn't do anything for 12 hours.
Yeah, well, and that's why you got to sleep while it's going on. But it's funny too. People always make jokes about their laptops sounding like they're gonna like blast off or go to space. And my laptop, when it's running, it was just like.
Like, and I had like my other computer, which like had a lot of problems. It was like, and I was saving up for like months, and then I got it, and then it was like really, like it worked well, and then it just like it got slower, then it just kept on turning on, and then everything was lost. I lost so many podcasts, and like I'd open up Minecraft at like the lowest settings, and the fans would just go like crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like a MacBook Pro that I was like afford like saving up for so long, and I was like, what? There's no way like this. And then now that after like 5 different repairs, they gave me a better one, like the M1, and this one is like a lot better, but I feel like the other one was the same, but it was just a problem with like the computer. It was
Yeah. Huh. That's funny.
yeah. So before we end, do you have like any advice for anyone who wants to kind of like become a YouTuber / TikToker? Like,
Yeah, I do. The number one piece of advice that I always give is just if you really want to do it, you just have to do it every day, and you have to do it a lot of times before you can be good at anything. I think that's probably applicable. And the only reason that I'm sitting here at 4 million subscribers or whatever is because I failed at it a lot of times for 5 months before I ever had any success at all. And I continued to push through and adapt and grow as I spent time on the platform. So the best way to become a creator is like fake it till you make it. Just like put out a bunch of content and do it on a daily basis.
yeah, I feel like if you do it daily, the more quicker you learn, and because you're doing it daily, like you learn more things, and then you can like apply those things like a video after video, and then it just makes you grow like exponentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was some great advice. So before we end, is there like anything you want to promote?
No, not at all. I'm not
right.
selling any merch or anything like that. Just best way to support me is just check out my videos, but that's it.
Yeah, if you want to support him by checking out his videos, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube will all be in the description. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This really means a lot, and I'll see you next episode of the Nicocast.